Hello and welcome back to a brand new video. So, have you guys ever been on GitHub and seen code repositories that had a file named requirements.txt? Have you ever wondered why is that file there? What is the use of it or how is it made? Well, today's your lucky day. I will be answering your questions. So, let's get right to today's topic, creating requirements.txt. So, I'll quickly go ahead and open up my VS Code. And here I have already written a piece of code, but to run this piece of code, I'll require an external library that is called Colorama, as you could see right here. So what am I supposed to do? I'll go ahead and install that library, right? So I'll go to terminal and create a new terminal and I'll write pip install Colorama. And what this would do is it installed the library that I'm supposed to use for running this program. And now, if I run this program runs smoothly. But what if I was to take this piece of code from this computer to another and then try and run it? Would it run or would it not? Answer down in the comments. Well, I believe that you have answered it by now. So now I'll tell you what would happen naturally. So if I was to take this piece of code and run it on another machine, it would not work unless there is this external library called Colorama already installed on that particular machine. So suppose you are browsing GitHub and you see someone's code and you wanna use that code for yourself. Well, how do you do it? How do do you just copy the code and just run it? There's a good possibility that it would not work like that. Sorry, there's a good possibility that your code would not run. Why? Because you must need some libraries. So to create that, we'll first of all install another library. We'll install piprex. So we'll do pip install piprex. And since I've already installed it, it says requirement already satisfied. Well, how does piprex work? So first of all, you need to get to your directory in which your main.py file is saved. Well, your file does not necessarily need to be main.py. It could be any file that is a Python file that has some external libraries being used in it. So I'll quickly change my directory to the one that my file is in. So that would be cd, which is the command for Windows. So I'll write cd and then I'll create quotes and write the name of the directory, that is create requirements.txt, and I'll close the quotes. And now I'm in my directory. Now what do I do next? I have already installed piprex, so I quickly go ahead and write piprex. And if you see right over here, a new requirements.txt file has appeared. So if we go ahead and open it, there is a requirement that has been mentioned in this file that says colorama equals to 0.4.5. Now what does this mean? This is basically telling our machine that to run the program main.py right here, we require colorama version number 0.4.5 because that is the requirement for running this code as it works based off of an external library. Well, that's it for creating a requirements.txt file. But how do you use it? So to do that, we'll go ahead and write pip install dash r and write requirements.txt. So do you understand what it does just by looking at it? Well, if you do, that's great. But if you don't, I'm here for you and I'll tell you what it does. So Basically, what we're doing with this command is we are telling pip to install the libraries that are mentioned in requirements.txt in our particular directory, that is create requirements.txt, that is the directory that we're working in. So we are basically telling pip to read through the requirements.txt file and install all the libraries mentioned with it along with the accurate version of it. Since I have already installed Colorama on my machine, it says requirement already satisfied, Colorama equals 0.4.5. So now you have successfully installed the requirements, and if you want to go ahead and run this program, it would run smoothly. Well, now you know how to create requirements.txt and how to use requirements.txt. Now, where would this be used in an ideal situation? Well, if you are coding, if you're creating a program, let's say that requires a lot of external libraries that are not very commonly used, and you want to share that code with a friend or with strangers online to help them contribute to your project, like a public repository on GitHub. This this requirement.txt file would provide ease in quickly getting the code up and running on their local machines to test it out and to create new requirements and to create new developments with this. And otherwise, suppose you have like a library Colorama that's written on top. Okay, I can just quickly go ahead and write pip install Colorama, can't I? But what if you have, well, 17 libraries that you need to install? That would be a lot of hassle, wouldn't it be? So instead, you could just quickly add all of those to requirements.txt using piprex, and then when you run a single command that says pip install -r requirements.txt, it would install all 17 of those libraries at once. So it essentially makes your work a lot easier, and it makes it easier for other people to access your code and to run it locally on their machines. When you're working in groups or when you're working with friends, it's always best to create a requirements.txt file for them to quickly get hang of your code. That's all for today's video. I'll be back with another tutorial soon. Thank you for watching.